Alright, what is up YouTube, MCO40 here. We have now gone past the third round of the Zodiac Tournament, and we have Spell Ruler format now in effect. Now, there is literally zero to any information on this particular format in the game's history. And it's relatively interesting that this format isn't denoted because of just singularly how much it changed the game. Going from Metal Raiders into this current block of Yugioh is very, very devastating to the game because Spell Ruler, aka Magic Ruler, changes your core fundamental values of the game. Also, with the release of the ban list on October 2nd, they also released Tournament Pack 2. And this is the only time in the game's history where Morphing Jar is at 3. So not only do you have to deal with what is fundamentally in Spell Ruler format, you also have to deal with the threat of 3 Morphing Jar for October and November until the release of the December ban list. So this is the 2-month chronicle that we're going to be characterizing. And I wanted to show off just how much Spell Ruler brings to the game. Now, if you're not too familiar with Mahavilo, this is the first set that you can actually start to build Mahavilo OTK. A lot of people went for the standard approach and just took standard beatdown and started adding to it. This is the first format in the game's history, though, that you can actually start to play things other than your standard beatdown. But in the tournament, a lot of people discovered Burn, which is going to be the deck profile I'm going to show for you here after we actually showcase just how much Spell Ruler changes the game. So you have Mahavilo OTK because of Nuzzler, Axe, and Black Pendant. Spectacular. You get your first trainable trap card that's actually kind of good for stopping. But this set does a lot more. Relinquished is now a viable deck at this stage in the game because we get things... We're going to scroll down here a little bit. Because we now have stupid Senju and a Sonic Bird. Sonic Bird! Sonic Bird. And then we have the normal summon Senju to search. So you can actually resolve Relinquished at this stage in the game's development. So Relinquish is actually another viable option that you can get away with. And then of course, you guys know about the big 3. Of course, Confiscation, Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry. These are all currently banned in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! Snatch Steal as well, just kind of adding into the staple-esque of things. And then you start getting into the more degenerate cards. Giant Grenade is at 3 in this format, Heavy Storm's at 2, and 3 MST also exists. But a lot of people, I don't think, really looked into exploring backrow removal. But now you also have other troublesome cards coming into the game. You have Chain Energy and you have Toll. Being able to ping your opponent for 500, and with the release of Giant German Nimble Momonga, it's so degenerate. Of course, Megamorph adding into the fray. And to top things off, we have the recruiters now. You have Giant Rat, Mystic Tomato, Shining Angel, all of these rather large monsters coming into the game. Just so interesting. Just what they did ruining Yu-Gi-Oh! So as a set that kind of goes under the radar for changing it, such an interesting time in the game just because Relinquished, Beatdown, Burn, all of these decks come into existence. Spell Ruler kind of really gets the shaft, though, for being not noted for being one of the sets that changes the game. Also, you get the first initial soft lock in this game because of Banish of the Radiance with the Gravekeeper Servant. Enjoy not being able to declare an attack because you can't send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. It forcibly gets removed. So, this is the burn deck that I was coming up with. I sent this concept to a couple of people throughout the tournament. We were discussing a few things. A few people chose to evolve the deck and the concept a lot further. But going into this tournament, your mentality is, I only need to win 1 match. And at round 3, if I'm assuming that everyone doesn't truly explore this format, so you're in a 4-day time period, a lot of people are going to explore these formats. Now, There were other things in this format, such as Clown Control. Clown Control was the list that I kept locked up, nice and safe. But if I was playing anything, I would have played Clown Control or this. These were the two huge variables. Now, you also have to remember, if your opponent goes below 500 life or stays right at 500 life, your opponent can't play fucking shit because of chain energy. You gotta remember, each player must pay 500 life points per card to normal, special summon, or set or activate cards from their respective hands. This is huge in this game, in this point in time. Same thing with Toll. Each player must pay 500 life points to declare an attack. And to top things off, with 3 Morphing Jar, Nobleman of Crossout does not exist in this format. Every set monster that you encounter is going to be a threat to you. And especially with 3 Magician of Faith, my trigger word of this format is Magician of Faith effect, grab, Pot of Greed, response. It's not a good time. But this format, because of all the hand destruction cards, a lot of people declare that this format is bad, but if you explore it, there are a lot of interesting things that went into it. So anyway, this is the Burn deck profile. You have to understand this is a very momentum, very tempo-based deck. Literally just need one Morphing Jar to go off and you go. So, 1 Cyber Jar, triple Giant Germ. Do you know how many times you could just set this while your opponent is sitting at 1,000 life points or 1,500, and then you'll just beam out 2 more of these just to put a massive threat on the board? Because these cards, I watched a lot of people not really know what was going on with these. I watched a guy pay 1,000 life points to draw 2 off a Pot of Greed when he was at like 3,000. I mean, I understand if you're trying to get to a resource to clear these out, but just, it's not worth it. 3 Magician of Faith, 2 Mask Restrict. My original build, I was deviating between 2 to 3. The 41th card didn't really matter. You gotta remember, you're also only on 7 traps, but it shouldn't be an issue because you should be accelerating enough to resolve these things. And it's also not like, you know, this card's not that amazing. When I say not amazing, like, this card's pretty much your central win piece. Triple Morphing Jar. Card's so broken. Triple Nimble Munga, 2 Sangan, 2 Witch, and of course 2 Card Destruction, triple Chain Energy, triple Messenger Piece, 1 Pot of Greed, 2 Swords of Revealing Light, triple Toll, triple Just Desserts, triple Magic Jammer, and 1 Mirror Force. So, you have to understand, your typical mentality when playing this deck is going to literally be the same thing as what you would think. Players, when they see Burn, they're going to start setting monsters from their hand and gaining resources. Just Desserts allows you to massively blow your opponent the fuck out because your opponent is playing into your board, which is really interesting when you look at it. I was also considering Judgment over Magic Jammer, but honestly, paying half my life points when I need my own life points to get around my, my own chain energy, or, if I want to ram my Giant Germ for game. There are a lot of little weird intricacies that you need to consider. But the only real things that kill us are Giant Grenade, Heavy Storm. So we kind of dance around that a little bit with this. So very important to realize what you're getting yourself into when you're making these mobility pushes in this format, though. Because Judgment is a real card. Judgment can blow you out. But if your opponent Judgments against you while you're playing this deck, you can pretty much just kill them with Just Desserts. The deck has a lot of really cool things to go about this. I'm going to show off a couple hands for you guys, just kind of show you some of the things that you're going to be looking at here. Oh man, Morphing Jar, Just Desserts, Messenger Piece. So you're literally setting these and setting the jar. You gotta remember, there's no knock in this format, so your opponent's probably just going to passively pass their turn. Your jars, you're going to draw the Jammer for turn, set it, and then you're just going to draw into this. Chain Energy and Toll. So fucking delicious. I can taste the despair on my opponent's lips. Actually, you're going to set up as much as you can here. I really wish I could hold a card in my hand. Might just actually keep the Faith. No, may as well set the Faith in case your opponent tries to, MST one of these. Absolutely kind of no reason not to. Oh, cool. Pot of Greed allows me to draw 2 cards. You're pretty set up here. You got fodder for the Magic Jammer. You can load up. Also, you need to be aware when playing this deck, though. These do deck thin 2 cards, so you need to keep in mind If you're going for the deck out, extra win con of this deck, you're going to have to adjust, especially if these two are floating out of your deck. You're going to have to compensate for things like card destruction to make up for the missing amounts of cards that are going to be missing. Outside of that, I mean, the side deck's extremely not a lot to go for here, honestly. The main deck's kind of just as good as it is. So, what do you guys think about Spell Ruler format? It's a very underestimated format, because a lot of people didn't take a lot of time to explore just what Spell Ruler did to the game. And by explore, I mean fucking Spell Ruler changed this game forever, and not in a good way. So guys, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and this is all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this continuation segment. We have a lot more rounds to go. Alright guys.